All right, let's dive into a life strategy that completely flips what we think we know about success. We're talking about a way of living that isn't guided by, goals or sheer willpower, but by something much, much quieter, a deep, honest listening to what's going on inside.
So, let's kick things off with a question that really gets to the core of this whole idea. You know how we're always told to just push through when we lack motivation? To find more grit, to just try harder? Well, what if that feeling, that lack of motivation, isn't actually a problem to be solved? What if it's not a bug in our programming, but a feature, a really important signal that's trying to get our attention?
So first up, we need to completely rethink what lack of motivation even means. Seriously, forget all the usual stuff about being lazy or not having enough discipline. Instead, think of it as a natural stop sign. It's your system telling you, hey, what we're doing right now, it's just not right for us.
And yeah, this slide lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the model we're all familiar with, right? The hustle culture model. Grind it out, push harder, keep your eyes on the prize. But then on the other side, you see this completely different strategy. Here, the focus is all internal. It's about spotting that mismatch, hitting the brakes on what feels wrong, and making your internal well-being the #1 priority, period.
Okay, so you might be wondering, if you're not being pushed by ambition, or your ego, or this big need to become someone important, then what in the world is driving you? Well, that's where this concept of an internal compass comes in. It's a totally different way to navigate life, guided purely by how you feel on the inside. This describes a way of being where, honestly, you just don't get that big rush from traditional wins. Achieving something doesn't feel like this huge victory, and on the flip side, failing doesn't send you into a spiral of self-blame. It's more like a neutral feedback loop. The only thing that really registers is, does this feel right or does it feel wrong? That's it. And this is wild because it totally redefines what desire even is. In this framework, desire isn't the fuel that keeps you going for the whole trip. Nope. It's just the key turning in the ignition. It's the spark that gets the engine started. And if that desire fizzles out, that's not a failure. It just means the test drive is over. The engine did its job. It showed you that, hey, this isn't the right car for us. Time to get out. So, the real skill here is learning to read the signs. And they're pretty clear once you know what to look for. Your motivation just tanks. The reason you started suddenly feels, well, fake. Your body physically resists doing the thing. It just feels like a heavy, obligatory chore. When all that happens, that's your internal alarm system blaring, mismatch, mismatch. Okay, so this leads us to the absolute core of how this works. Once you detect that mismatch, there's really only one thing to do. It sounds simple, but man, does it require a leap of faith.
This is the whole principle in a nutshell. It's the golden rule. And it's not about being weak or giving up. It's a fundamental, structural thing. For someone operating this way, you literally cannot talk yourself into continuing. No amount of just push through or think of the reward is going to work. The very act of trying to force it feels just intolerable.
And the process is almost like automatic. Step 1, mismatch detected. Step 2, action stops. Immediately, no delay. And here's the magic, the really critical part is step 3. Because you stopped before you had to force yourself, you avoid all that baggage. No resentment, no burnout, no blaming yourself. It's an incredible strategy for protecting your own inner peace.
Naturally, this makes you look at success and failure in a completely new light. I mean, if you're always stopping things that don't feel right, what does that do to your scorecard in the real world?
And here's where this idea goes head-to-head with modern hustle culture. Right? The whole mantra is, you can create your own motivation. Persistence is everything. This strategy looks at that and just says, nope, motivation isn't something you can cook up in a lab. You could have a guaranteed paint-by-numbers path to success right in front of you, but if it feels wrong on the inside, you walk away. Your internal state is trusted way more than any promise of a future reward. This quote right here is such a powerful shift in perspective. It completely reframes the story. It's not, I couldn't do it. It's not about a failure to achieve what everyone else calls success. Instead, it's about making a choice, whether you realize it at the time or not, to not select that path because it just wasn't right for you. It turns it from a story of lack into a story of choice.
All right, so where does this road lead? What's the end game? What happens when you live this way for years, consistently saying no to things that cause that internal friction and only yes to what flows? The result is this state called silence as a baseline. And what's crucial to understand is that this isn't a goal you chase. You can't hustle your way to inner peace. It's what's left over. It's the natural state that emerges after you've cleared away all the clutter,
all the misalignments, all the things that weren't really you. It's the profound quiet that was underneath it all along.
And this slide just makes it crystal clear how you get there. This inner quiet is produced by what you don't do. It comes from not forcing things, from not trying to keep a desire alive when it's naturally faded. It's the complete opposite of using discipline or grit or self-denial to achieve some state. It's all about subtraction, not addition.
So let's just do a quick recap of the main ideas here. Number 1, motivation is a signal, not a product you can manufacture. Number 2, if something feels wrong, you just stop. You can't force it. Number 3, the stuff that you do end up continuing happens almost effortlessly. And finally, number 4, your internal state is the ultimate authority. It trumps outside opinions, it trumps potential outcomes, it trumps every.
And we'll leave it with this final quote, which just perfectly captures the entire shift in thinking. It makes you ask, what if there's another kind of failure? The quiet, hidden failure of forcing yourself, day after day, down a path that just slowly erodes who you are. This whole strategy, when you boil it down, isn't about failing to succeed in the eyes of the world. It's about succeeding in not quietly failing yourself.